Usage 1. Expressing preferences. Examples: I'd rather stay home and watch a movie tonight. I'd rather eat pizza than sushi. Usage 2. Making choices. Examples: I'd rather go for a walk than go to the gym. I'd rather take the train than drive in heavy traffic. Usage 3. Declining or refusing something. Examples: I'd rather not go to the party. I'm not in the mood. I'd rather not eat dessert. I'm trying to eat healthier. Usage 4. Expressing aversion or avoidance. Examples: I'd rather not talk about that topic. It's too sensitive. I'd rather not go near spiders. They scare me. Usage 5. Indicating a personal preference or inclination. Examples: I'd rather read a book than watch TV. I'd rather go hiking than go shopping. Usage 6. Expressing a stronger choice or opinion. Examples: I'd much rather travel to Europe than to Asia. I'd rather have a quiet night in than go to a crowded party. Usage 7. Expressing a desire for an alternative or different situation. Examples: I'd rather be on vacation right now than at work. I'd rather be at the beach than stuck in traffic. General sentences: I'd rather go for a run than sit on the couch all day. She'd rather read a book than watch TV. He'd rather eat at a local restaurant than a fast food chain. They'd rather take the stairs instead of the elevator. I'd rather have a cup of tea than a cup of coffee. She'd rather listen to music than watch a movie. He'd rather stay at home than go out to a crowded party. They'd rather go on a road trip than fly. I'd rather cook dinner than order takeout. She'd rather go to the beach than the mountains. He'd rather play soccer than basketball. They'd rather go for a hike than visit a museum. I'd rather study in the morning than at night. She'd rather work independently than in a team. He'd rather go to bed early than stay up late. They'd rather have a picnic in the park than eat at a restaurant. I'd rather learn a new language than play video games. She'd rather take a walk in nature than shop at a mall. He'd rather listen to classical music than pop music. They'd rather spend their vacation in the countryside than in a city. I'd rather go for a bike ride than drive a car. She'd rather spend time with her friends than be alone. He'd rather go to the gym than watch TV. They'd rather have a quiet night and then go to a party. I'd rather learn to play the piano than the guitar. She'd rather go hiking in the mountains than swimming at the beach. He'd rather wear comfortable clothes than dress up in formal attire. They'd rather have a home-cooked meal than eat at a restaurant. I'd rather read a book than watch a movie. She'd rather take a hot shower than a cold one. He'd rather listen to podcasts than the radio. They'd rather go on a nature walk than visit a museum. I'd rather take the stairs than the elevator. She'd rather work from home than commute to the office. He'd rather go for a jog than do weightlifting. They'd rather visit a zoo than an amusement park. I'd rather have a quiet night at home than go to a noisy bar. She'd rather go on a road trip than fly. He'd rather wake up early than sleep in. They'd rather have a picnic in the park than eat at a restaurant. I'd rather write a letter than send a text message. She'd rather volunteer at a charity than attend a party. He'd rather listen to live music than recorded songs. They'd rather have a cup of tea than coffee. I'd rather go for a swim than sunbathe on the beach. She'd rather take photographs than paint. He'd rather go for a walk in the park than visit a shopping mall. They'd rather have a game night at home than go to a movie theater. I'd rather learn a new skill than watch TV. She'd rather have a pet dog than a cat.